Pain and discomfort, elements that we learn to avoid from a young age, fundamental components of life that have the power to intimidate, terrify, and anchor us down into inaction by simply thinking of them. From avoiding the sharp and momentary pain of removing a tooth, to hiding off from the discomfort of difficult decisions in life, or avoiding the hardships of facing our flaws and fears, we have all experienced the unease of intentionally facing pain and discomfort. Can you recall, friend, moments from your life when you decided to put off important decisions just to avoid temporary suffering? Can you think of occasions in which you avoided intense and short physical discomfort? Can you remember the time when you ended up choosing less pain over the long term instead of more pain in the short term? Unfortunately, just like everyone else, you probably can relate to such experiences, and sadly, just like most people, many men grow up choosing too often the dull, prolonged pain approach in making important decisions in their lives. A choice that has far more negative impact on their success, relationships, and ultimate happiness than they imagine. As your defense mechanism kicks in and asks, why would you not endure less pain and suffering for longer and figure out a solution along the way? Let me tell you why it is better to ruin a big chunk of your days once, rather than a little bit all day every day until your so-called day of resolution. By nature, your brain does not like unfinished business and hanging thoughts, and when you have something that you need to take care of and you do not do it, that something will nag you each day, just like a small but consistent pain, similar to the sensation that you get when walking with a pebble in your shoe, a feeling that will stick with you non-stop, cluttering your thoughts, making you cranky, anxious, and depressed. Think of a decision that you keep postponing for some time now, friend, and realize how nervous you become just by thinking about it. Maybe you ponder about changing your job. Maybe you think about building your own business, starting a family, or going back to school. A decision that you keep on hold for weeks, months, or maybe years, hoping that something will happen so that you wouldn't have to make the decision yourself. You have avoided to pull the trigger on that choice for so long, and yet it is still in your head every day, as strong as ever, making you miserable, depressed, and short-tempered with the ones you care about, because you know that you need to make that call. Instead of being out there in the world acting on your choice and making the best out of it, you keep that decision on standby, and the constant dull pain that comes with your hesitation becomes your comfortable companion. A companion that became so familiar to you that getting rid of it can be scary, but do not be fooled, friend, into believing that your annoying unfinished business that you're so attached to serves you well, because your attachment to indecision is like a shackle chained to your ankles, keeping you from moving on and finding success and fulfillment in life. It is tempting to ignore a problem or a needed decision, hoping that you will never have to fully deal with it, but in the majority of cases, such a procrastination only makes the situation worse than before. I have for you a story of a friend who hit his head once while jumping in a shallow lake. Even though he got out on his own 2 feet, he passed out for a couple of minutes after that, only to get back again on his feet like nothing happened. He refused to go to the hospital even though everyone insisted, and he got on with his day. For the next couple of years, he started to develop headaches that would eventually last for days, but he was still stubborn enough to not get a check with the doctor, avoiding an issue that was so obvious. Years later, when the headaches became unbearable and when no over-the-counter medication could alleviate his pain, he finally went to the doctor, only to find out that he had developed big blood clots on his brain. Even though he survived the surgery, the doctors could not remove all of the blood clots without doing permanent damage to his brain, and he died a few months later with the regret that if he would have dealt with the issue sooner, he would still be alive today. Keep in mind, friend, that not dealing with decisions and avoiding pain and discomfort with the hope that you will never have to fully deal with them is a gamble that can deprive you of your most valuable possession, your free and clear conscience, and many times, not only that. So ask yourself, is there something you've been needing to do but have been too scared or too nervous or too lazy to do? Something that you have been putting off for a while? something that has been hanging on your mind heavily. Maybe it is some serious moral or ethical mistake that you need to take accountability for. Maybe you need to speak your mind in front of someone, or maybe it is a huge stack of tasks that have been sitting around in your calendar for months, waiting to be done. Whatever it is, friend, I challenge you to be bold enough to face the pain right now and take care of your business. If you can't take care of it in one go, do what you can now and set the wheels of action in motion. Do something. Do enough so that there is going to be no backing out, and plan your next steps as well. I dare you to embrace the discomfort of taking action. I challenge you to take the pain like a man now so that you can live like a man later. Fear and discomfort are not elements that should be avoided, but guides that should signal you the potential for growth. As harsh and hostile as immediate pain and discomfort might seem, there is nothing more painful and unpleasant than the regret of not taking action. Intense and immediate pain with a clear consciousness and an applicable resolution, or constant dull pain that leaves you in permanent depression and misery. Next time you have to pick, what will you choose?